Hey, how are you? Lisa Miller here, Miss Manifester, and welcome to Hey Universe. I'm here. How are you? I'm here today. This is actually season one, episode one, because the first one that you may have listened to was actually just an introduction, even though it was 17 minutes long. So, welcome. It's so exciting to have you here. Some people have already tuned in and subscribed, so you'll get a message to show you that this one's up as well. I'm really excited to have you here. And today's topic is what really is the universe? I mean, we can't talk about this thing, hey, universe, if we don't have some idea of what it is. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea about the science and just how it works energetically so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about when I talk about energy and the quantum field and quantum particles and quantum entanglements. Now, I won't be talking about them all the time, but I just thought today would be a neat way to go through some of those concepts. Now, I am not a quantum physicist. I am not an expert in this, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on how it works. And what I'll do in the notes, I'll give you a couple of websites that you can go to that you can actually find out more if you want to. Now, people like Deepak Chopra, people like Greg Baden, people like Bruce Lipton, people like Joe Dispenza have a lot of information that they use with their work around the field and around the science of it. And of course, Joe Dispenza is always doing scientific actual research while he has his meditation weekends, while he does his courses and his workshops. So he's always really cool to read or to find out more about too. But I just want to start by saying thank you for being here. Welcome to my podcast. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Lisa Miller, the creator of the Miss Manifestor Academy. And I started it because I wanted women like you to be able to access the tools I've got that allowed me to be able to create and manifest using the universe as my leverage, leveraging the universe without all the hustle and force and self-judgment. Now, you still have to put time in. You still have to learn skills. I've still had to learn how to use this podcast platform. I'm not saying there's not some work involved, but not the hard, heavy lifting that we've been taught to do. There's always something you need to learn, a new skill with any business you've got or any new thing you require, right? But when we hand 90% of the heavy stuff over to the universe and we allow it to bring in those desires and those skills and those resources and people in a way that's leveraged, then we are doing it out of hustle and force. And that's what my business is all about. So welcome. So first I want to talk to you about the universe. Now the universe is basically 99.999999 reoccurring percent energy, and so is your body, and so is your cells down to the atom. They can't find much material. They can't find much actual particles. It's all energy. So when we're trying to work with how can we manifest our lives without force and hustle, we actually can't ignore the energy part because we are mainly energy. And the universe is this big heaving mass of energy, right? And then there's some solid things that we see and connect into, including our body. But guess what? Our body is just trillions of cells as well that vibrate in a certain way that it seems solid. So at our smallest level, we are this vibrating atom, millions and trillions of vibrating atoms. Okay? And so is the universe. So when we're standing on something solid, it's really just energy. It's the way we observe life, the way we look at it, the way we put our points of views onto it, our beliefs, our assumptions, and the meaning we put onto things that actually has it show that way. So we all believe the earth is a certain way. We're all born into this paradigm that the earth is round, or most of us, and that it looks a certain way, and we're all agreeing in a reality where actually, is it really that? And we can't actually prove otherwise unless we all start to think and believe a different thing. And that's how come we get changes over time. In history, we've seen things change in terms of what we know about science, because before we had a more limited consciousness or awareness of what something was, and we assumed it was a certain way. We assumed cancer couldn't be curable. Now we're finding cures for it, right? So the way we observe and look at life and our beliefs and assumptions create our reality. Now, you can actually look up some experiments, and one of them is called the split experiment. I don't think it's quite called that, but they did this thing where they measured people observing, I think it's a ball. You'll have to look this up because I'm a bit of a big picture person. They observe something, the way that people observe this thing happening. I think it was a ball of light, this ball that was moving. And it measured differently, the speed of it and where it went, depending on the person and the scientists who looked at it. So you can look at these experiments that show us that reality is not what we see, it's what we think we see, how we perceive life, and our agreement about it. We're all agreeing that trees are generally green and they've got leaves, right? We're all agreeing that we have to eat for our body to have energy. But what if we didn't? And I'm just saying that to put that out there, that how we observe life is how it shows up. So we have this energetic field, which you might call a quantum field if you're a scientist. I call it the quantum field too sometimes. You might call it God or source or universe. I mainly call it universe, but you will hear me say the field. People like Joe Dispenza talk about the field. And it's this big energetic intelligence, right? So when we're interacting with it, we're interacting from our own intelligence too, because we are the same molecules, we are the same energy, we're made of the same we are made of the same minerals and some of the same essences as the universe. So you technically are the universe, but it's also the separate thing that we can sense, that we can see through cameras, that we can see when we look out the window, that we can see when we're looking at videos of space, right? There's ways to merge with it so you're not apart from it, but there's ways to interact with it too. So you're this more separate being that's interacting with it like a being. That is what I do in my manifestation work. I talk to it like it's a person, but I also have processes and meditations and activations that have me merging with it. So we're like, we are one. And this is how reality is created. It's how we observe it is how it actually shows up. It's not right now. What you're seeing right now is not now. It's your past. It's all your past consciousness and unconsciousness. It's all your past assumptions and beliefs and points of views and all your programming from when you're little that actually has it showing up this way right now. You are actually the result of all of that. But that all creates an energy. So it's actually your energetics that are interacting with the field from that thought, from that belief, from that assumption, from that hidden pattern that you've got that is creating your reality. So you can say, oh, I hate my mum. There's no energy behind it, right? So it's not the words, the actual words, it's the energy behind it. So if you're saying, oh, I really love the earth, you can tell that the energy behind it isn't that. It's sarcastic, it's low, it's a lower frequency. So it's not so much the words you use, it's the energy of the thing and how you've said it and how you're interacting with the field. And it's not even what you've said. It's all this unconscious stuff that is mainly driving your reality. So action is only really about 5% of it. The action, it's not cause and effect that creates our reality. Is action is the last part of it. It's this 95% of energy, which is driven from our points of views, our hidden ones, generally our unconscious ones, our beliefs, and then what we're saying consciously. But even our conscious stuff is driven from this unconscious patterning. And the unconscious patterning is wired in that first sort of 7 to 10 years, and then we build other things on top of it until we've got this filtering system that only sees life in that way, and that's all there is. And that's all I know, and because that's all I know, I keep creating more of that. So you're only aware of what matches those patterns. So you have a filtering thing in your brain called the reticular activating system that can only show you that. And because you're being a certain energetic way, a certain energetic resonance or frequency, you keep bringing in the same stuff. Now, it's not like it's not already here, because it is. Everything you desire, everything you dream of is already here. It's right here in this field. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to dream about it. Otherwise, you wouldn't desire it. So everything you actually desire is available and is in the field. But the barriers are those things I just talked about, how you talk about things. If you talk about lack and a lack of abundance and how hard things are, and you've got unconscious patterns around how I'm all by myself, there's no one to support me, so you wouldn't even rely on the universe to come in and be your buddy, right? So everything you desire is right here. And my job as a coach is to actually shift the barriers energetically and in a mindset way too, out of the way. So we use tools that work on your mindset and tools that work with your energetics together, which remove the barrier so the thing just sort of slips in. And it's what we call in science too a quantum entanglement. So you're entangled with this thing already because you've decided it's for you, it's your desire, your dream, you're already entangled with it. But we've got to move these things out of the way. And this entanglement pulls you forward. It's like, I'm so excited about it. You draw energy from it. It feels exciting. And that's pretty much how I teach you to do things in my memberships is have this entanglement with this future that you absolutely love, that you desire, because you know it's possible because you've thought about it. And then we work on moving and shifting any barrier out of the way so the thing can just be here right now. But guess what? You're also entangled with the other things. So if you're still angry at your ex from 20 years ago, you're still entangled with that. And you might bring people into your life that make you more angry, or guys into your life that make you more angry, or whatever. So we're still entangled with some things from our past that are not a contribution to us. So my work helps you to unentangle those things through the journaling, the activations, the meditations, through that mindset work too. So the universe is actually quite complex to explain how it all works. It's like a wave of energy until we observe it. Then it becomes a particle which is solid. And the way you look at life is how you observe it, is how it shows up. And that's why in a family, you can have different people, like even my brothers in my family, seeing things slightly differently. Seeing things slightly differently because how they observe it is how it showed up for them. So, you might have a frustration around a certain thing that was in your childhood and they don't, because they had a different way of seeing it, a different way of observing it, and a different relationship with it. So it showed up differently for them. Isn't that interesting? That's also how you can have 20 people at a crime scene and they all see different things based on their filters. So our brain is constantly filtering this information, and it can only pick up like 0.0001% of what's going on in this field in the universe. So it's only bringing in what matches what you've noticed and what you can see and what you've observed. So our work also opens up your awareness and consciousness. So the universe becomes a bigger reality. So there's something else that can drop into your field. So there's something else that you can start to observe and entangle with that you wouldn't have before. So we also have to open up our awareness and consciousness to connect into this being, into this huge intelligence in a way that will bring us all the abundance that is there. So we're coming to the main point of all this really, which is the abundance is available to you. The universe is infinitely abundant. And so are you, my friend. But your brain has been operating in a way that has you see you as lacking and the universe is lacking or not enough resources. But it's infinitely abundant, and so are you. And they've proven that with some of this research now. They're proving that there's millions of opportunities for you and versions that you can tap into of you. Like that movie Sliding Doors, you take one path, that shows up. You take another, that shows up, right? So there's millions of opportunities for you. There's millions of things that you can tap into that will create more abundance in your life. However, our brain is filtering that stuff out with its reticular activating system and other things. So you might not be aware or be able to access some of that abundance that is available in the field. And what you're accessing is the solid reality of I lack, or the universe lacks, or life lacks. But of course, that was a wave that got turned into a particle or something solid. And if you can create a wave to turn into that, you can unentangle that too. You can uncreate that solidity. So that thing is no longer solid for you anymore. So that you now have a relationship with yourself and the universe where you feel abundant and you know this universal intelligence has your back when you've got your back. And that's the other point. The universe only has your back when you do. I hear people saying online all the time, the universe is testing me. No, it's not. You have created those challenges, my friends. We are co-creating this all the time with our energetic resonance. You have created that, not meaning to, and not a judgment on you, but you've created this, right? So you can uncreate it too. So number one, the universe is not testing you, but yes, you may have challenges coming up that you've co-created, and it's responding to your energetic resonance right now. But also, not every challenge is a problem. Maybe you lost your job because you asked for something greater and greater abundance, and there's some other way of getting greater abundance. So your job had to move out of the way. And number two, the universe only has your back if you have your back. I see this all the time. The universe has my back. It's conspiring in my favor. Yes, it is technically conspiring in your favor. But what is your favor right now? What are you focusing on? Where is your attention? What are you talking about? What are you assuming? And what are your unconscious beliefs that are driving the show? Okay, because it can only support you and how you support you. It's got your back and who you're being. And that brings us to the other thing here. You are the co-creator of your reality. You are the co-creator with this universal field, this quantum field, God or source or whatever you want to call it. And when you get present to that and start to live like that, your life will change because you will be empowered. You'll feel empowered. Your energetics will be more empowered and you'll feel like you've got some control. And I don't mean the control of the brain, but you've got some access to this capacity, to these capacities and this intelligence that knows way more than we could ever know, has your back when you've got your back, and is conspiring in your favor when you are. So this universal being or intelligence has everything you've ever desired, everything you require, all the resources, all the people, all the places, everything you need. When you get out of your own way, when you shift your energetics to match that future version of you that you desire, when you shift your energetics to be more congruent and in alignment with what you desire. So you cannot be talking about lack. You cannot be talking about how bad the government is and then to have the greatest amount of abundance. Now, you could be absolutely a millionaire right now and be talking about lack, because you've done it out of force or some other way, right? You can do it through hustle and force and hard work, but wouldn't you want to do it with this beautiful ease and flow and allow the universe to bring in the resources and things that you require rather than pushing and forcing against the flow of life, working really hard, burning out, but you're a multi-millionaire? I know which way I'm doing it. I know which way I want to do it. I know which way I'm choosing. And that's this beautiful co-creative relationship with something that you can call anything you like. You can see it like a being, God, source, universe, quantum field, the field of intelligence, whatever you like. But everything, my friend, is available to you. It's available to you when you become available, when your energy is in congruency and alignment. So the universe is something you can tap into. And that's why I use questions, because questions actually tap you into your own inner intelligence and the intelligence of the universe. So by saying, universe, show me, it's more of a request. Universe, show me ease today. Show me what's available to me today. You're creating this really cool, energetic relationship and communion with something that has more intelligence than us right now. We have infinite intelligence too, but it has the capacity to bring things in and move molecules, right? And you're activating that. You're activating your own inner intelligence and your capacity to move molecules. You're activating your own knowing and you're activating that intelligence of the field. And that's why they put in the Bible, ask and you shall receive, because it actually is an ask and you shall receive reality. When you're actually judging or you have a conclusional relationship with it, you're like, well, life is hard. Money's hard to get. I'm not good with friends. You are stopping that universe bringing something new and unique in. So conclusions and judgments don't work, my friend. Curiosity and wonderment do. So points of views, assumptions and beliefs solidify the field. So there's nothing else you can do or be in that way. They solidify the field. So if you're going to say, I'm a failure at that, all you're going to experience in that solid reality and that physical reality is more of that. Okay, so that's why we have to go into question and possibility, and that's why we have to have a deeper look at our patterns, because they are driving what's showing up and materializing for you. I want to finish again by saying everything you require and desire and actually need for this to show up is in the field. Everything is in the field. And you can have this relationship with the universe where it shows up. with greater ease, with greater flow, without the hustle, without the pushing and forcing. The universe has plenty for you if you see it that way, and if you observe it that way, and if you act that way, and you're being that way. So let's get asking. Universe, show me my true nature today. Show me being the abundant being I truly am. Get requesting that and send me a little voice message about what shows up, because I tell you, if you start doing this, I promise you, you are going to see something show up. The universe is going to bring something to you that wasn't in your field of awareness before, that wasn't in your quantum field, because it was narrowed down to a certain way of thinking. The universe is going to bring something that matches that. So thank you for being here on season 1, episode 1. Reach out with a clip underneath if you want to find out more resources, or some questions if you want to find out more about what I do, more about this podcast, you want to share what you've learned from this session, or you want to actually ask some questions that would lead me to doing another podcast about it. Fantastic. I'm so grateful that you're listening. I'm so grateful to anyone who's listening in the future. And please send me a message. You can head to my website, which will be in the notes as well, and get some tools and get rewiring some of your brain, rewiring some of your energetics so something new can show up. See you next time. Thanks for coming.